Hi Beauty Pies, welcome back. Today's video is a foundation review. I'm going to be reviewing a new foundation by Hourglass Cosmetics. This is a brand that's found at Sephora. This foundation just came out this month. It is called the Ambient Soft Glow Foundation. I am using the color 13. I bought it online and then I came home, I tried it on and it was too dark for me. So I went back to the store and I swatched some other colors. And in the end, this is the one I ended up staying with because it was the closest match to my skin tone. It's a little darker than my skin tone, but what I did was I just added a brightening concealer and skipped contour bronzing, and it kind of just gave me my normal skin tone. Still a tiny bit darker, but it worked out just fine. So a little bit about this foundation first. So Hourglass Cosmetics, if you don't know, they're known to be a cleaner, vegan, cruelty-free brand. They are definitely one of the more pricier brands at Sephora. And I think the reason for that is because of the quality of their ingredients. This retails for $58. It comes in a glass bottle. It has a cap and a pump, which, makes things a lot easier. It's a standard 1 fluid ounce. So my first impressions is I like the foundation. I don't like that it's not a perfect color match. It really does give the most amazing soft glow. I didn't notice it when I was putting my makeup on. It wasn't until I started filming that I could see the soft glow effect. Even though it gives a soft glow finish, it's matte. If you have dry skin like me, you wouldn't even need to powder it. It's a medium coverage that's buildable. They say that you just need a pea-sized amount for medium coverage. I ended up using 2 full pumps and that gave me full coverage like easily. I'm gonna apply this to my bare skin so you'll see how it actually looks without the rest of my makeup, and then you'll be able to see the difference of how I was able to fix the color by adding a brighter concealer. For my moisturizer, I'm using the True Cream Aqua Bomb. I also use the Creamy Eye Treatment from Kiehl's for my eye cream, and the instructions on the box for the foundation does say to use primer. It says directions: after applying primer, apply foundation to the center of the face. So since the instructions say to use a primer, I suggest using the primer because this foundation is definitely formulated to be used with a primer. So if you want to get the actual effect of it, that's probably the best thing to do. I'm using this Lancome Le Base Pro Smoothing Primer. All right, so I've already applied my moisturizer, eye cream, and the primer. Now I'm gonna go in with the foundation. I am in the color 13. I'm gonna start with 2 pumps. I can already tell that that's gonna be way more than I needed. That's what it looks like. It's not moving at all on my skin, so I probably didn't need 2 full pumps. So I picked up the foundation with my finger and dotted it all over my face. This is the way I like to apply my foundation. Using this brush, this is the IT Cosmetics 4 Ulta Airbrush Blurring Foundation Brush number 101. And I'm just going to pat the foundation into my skin. So you can see that it is darker than me, but because it's the right undertone, it doesn't make me look ashy, it just makes me look a little dark. And so far, I really like that coverage. It's giving like a semi-matte, but soft glow effect. What I wanted to do for this video and future videos was to apply it on one side of my face and then show you the difference, like the before and after, and I completely forgot, and I went ahead and applied it all over my face. But in future videos, I'll definitely leave one side blank so you can actually see what the foundation does. But aside from the color match, everything else looks really nice so far. There's no odd scent. It's like a very subtle scent. I don't feel any irritation or discomfort on my skin. Depending on how dry your skin is, you may feel a little tightness when you wear this if you don't use enough moisturizer and maybe like a moisturizing primer, because it does have a really matte feel to it. Definitely see that this might work better for someone with normal to oily skin types, better than it would work for someone with drier skin. So I had used 2 pumps of foundation. That's what I had applied on my face, and it's given me perfect full coverage. There is a little left on my hand, so I'm gonna apply that on my neck. You can see that really helps because now there isn't such a big difference between my face and my neck. The foundation is definitely true to its name. You can see that I have a soft glow, but I also have a full coverage matte foundation, which is really nice too. And it's also matte enough to skip powder. And I don't feel like it's too dark. Like I don't like that it's darker than my skin tone. Like I noticed that, but it's okay. It's fine. Okay, so let's just jump into the rest of the products so I can explain more about the foundation. So the concealer that I used is this Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin Concealer. This is a 24-hour high coverage multi-use concealer. I use the color 4.1. I love this concealer because it is, like it says, high coverage, and it's got a way of brightening but yet still not being too light for my skin tone, which is what I really like. Recently I used the new Revlon Concealer. You can see it in my last video. It's like a 5-in-1 concealer that also brightens and conceals and all of that. It brightens, but it's the wrong color. It leaves the wrong color on my skin tone, even though it blends out fine, where that's what the magic of something like this is, where it brightens the same way that Revlon concealer did, but it blends right into my skin tone, and it wasn't the wrong undertone. So it's just a really great concealer. But for this foundation, because the color of the foundation was too dark for my skin tone, I had to use an extra amount of this because I needed it to be more brightening versus just to conceal the darkness under my eyes. And that led me to have to spend more time blending out the concealer. If you use a beauty blender, it might be quicker, but it just took me a long time to blend out my concealer in order to, get this effect. So this isn't going to be like a regular foundation, like a daily use foundation for me, but I can definitely see myself using it for like a special occasion. So after the concealer, again, I did not have to use a contour and I did not bronze. And so that's why like the perimeter of my face is still the color of the foundation. And then the center of my face is just this. Because like I said, I added a lot of extra concealer and I blended it out like all the way through here and here. So that's why the center of my face is like more of my natural skin color. And then the perimeter is this color. So because the formula is a mattifying as it is, I didn't use a heavy powder. Even for my under eyes, I just used this powder. This is the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in Medium Deep. If you've been following me, you know I've been using this since day one. I used this in my first video. It is just like the perfect powder because it's so lightweight. It literally melts into my skin in terms of my skin color. Even if I'm a little bit more tan than usual, this still always works and it's perfectly light. And again, a situation like this where I really don't need to set my makeup, but I just want to put some powder on to make sure that I can just fill in some of those little pores. Sometimes when you put powder on, it just kind of smooths everything out. This is the perfect powder because it doesn't add any more coverage, but still gives you that blurring powder effect. I typically don't use like a setting spray or a finishing spray on my skin, so that's why I like to have some type of powder coverage on top of my foundation. For my eyes, I did keep my eye shadow very simple. I just used some blacks and browns to contour the eye, but most of the eye makeup work is being done by these lashes. This is the Lily Lashes in the style Mykonos. I also used this palette. I've had this for a long time. This is really one of my most loved blush palettes. It's called the Spice Market Blush Palette. It's by Sephora and it's 6 blush shades, but it has this darker brown shade here, and I love using that kind of as a base underneath if I wanted to like mute out this orange or mute out any of these other colors. So that way it really doubles the amount of blush colors that this palette offers. Again, what I did first was I put some of this on my cheek first, just in the cheek area, and then I went over it with this color right here on top. So that's what I'm wearing on my cheeks. And then after I applied those 2 blushes, I went over it with the same brush with this color. And I mentioned that it's with the same brush because it probably still had some of the other blush colors with it. So that's why it didn't come out as white. It wasn't glittery, it just leaves like a really nice, soft, subtle shine. And for my lips, I used the new lip products by CoverGirl, both the lip liner and the lipstick. It is in the color Elegant Nude. Both are in the color Elegant Nude. I used this combination in my foundation review from a few weeks ago for the L'Oreal Tinted Serum. And it looks very different because this time I applied the lip liner all over my lips and then applied the lipstick on top, because when I used it the last time, I realized that the lipstick is very sheer. So I wanted more coverage this time, and when I applied this all over my lips and then applied this on top, I got a lot more coverage, and it's also a different color. It's a lot more pink than mauve. But yeah, so that's what I'm using on my lips. If you want a tutorial on this makeup look, let me know down below. This technique that I just used right now is not something I've really ever done before. I just thought I would try it, and I really liked how it looked and it looks so natural because I'm not using an extra contour. It's just actually my foundation. So instead of using a contour, a concealer, and a foundation, I skipped a whole step. So that's a really nice benefit. I don't have any irritation on my skin. Like, it doesn't feel itchy or drying or anything like that. I just know, just based on the way it feels on my skin, that, you know, in about 6 to 7 hours, it's gonna feel a little tighter. Let's come in for one more close-up. It's really just hard to say anything bad about this foundation when it's just so obviously so pretty on my skin. But those are my thoughts. I hope this review was helpful. I'll see you in my next video. Mwah. Bye.